So Rep. Jim Jordan says today House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan, Subcommittee on the Constitution and Limited Government Chairman Mike Johnson, and Rep. Chip Roy from Texas released the following statement in light of the recent political attacks against Justice Clarence Thomas. The left has been out to get Justice Clarence Thomas for over 30 years. They started before he was even confirmed. Despite their baseless attacks, he has not stopped standing up for the rule of law and the Constitution. He is a threat to the radical progressive agenda because he openly defies them, and he cannot be intimidated. We pray for Justice Thomas and his family and thank him for his decades of faithful service to our nation. Okay. That's a bold statement, a bold stick up for Clarence Thomas. Did something happen to him? What's the latest attack on Clarence Thomas? Let's look. Let's just Google him, see what we see. Clarence Thomas. What's weird about Clarence Thomas is you'd think the left would hold him up as a black person that achieved the highest pinnacle of the judiciary. But no, because he doesn't really believe in your progressive agenda. You treat him like a racist white guy, and racism doesn't even exist. By the way, I don't even believe in it. It's not real. All right, so this is back in May. He was hospitalized. All right, so Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas on Thursday disclosed additional travel paid by the GOP megadona Harlan Crow last year, including a private jet flight to Texas that the justice said he accepted because of the increased security after the leak of high court controversy abortion opinion. In an extensive note attached to an annual disclosure report made public Thursday, Thomas noted a flight paid for by Crow last year for an American Enterprise Institute event in Dallas, in which the justice was the keynote speaker. Thomas said he accepted the private flight because of the increased security risk, and after the leak in May of a draft of the High Court's opinion overturning the Roe v. Wade. The annual disclosure report, which typically provide only limited details about justices' outside income and investments, also noted a private plane trip paid for by Crow to Texas in February 2022, which Thomas said he accepted because of unexpected ice storm. The disclosure notes another trip paid for by Crow to Crow's Lodge in the Adirondacks. For the first time, acknowledged Crow's purchase of property from Thomas in 2014. The details of the disclosure arrived at the Supreme Court, and Thomas in particular have been under intense scrutiny for months after outside gifts and travel, a debate that has prompted Democrats in Congress and outside groups to pressure the court to embrace a code of ethics and greater transparency. Greater transparency? Don't you only know about this shit because he disclosed it? He made special notes in the disclosure that aren't even required to give more detail? Seems like he's going above and beyond. In an unusual move, perhaps underscoring the attention of series of recent events in the ProPublica detailing luxury travel have received, an attorney for Thomas fired back at critics who have questioned his ethics in a lengthy statement describing the criticism of the senior most associate justice as political blood sport. A report filed, let me read this on the big screen, hold on. A report filed by Justice Samuel Alito, also made public Thursday, though his was more perfunctory. I'm not sure I understand what perfunctory means. Alito disclosed that Notre Dame Law School paid for a trip to Italy last summer in which he used an address in Rome to push back on critics of the Supreme Court's decision to end a constitutional right to abortion. The decision in Dobbs versus Jackson's Women's Health Organization, the most controversial ruling the court has handed down in years, sparked protests at the justice houses, and in one instance last year, a California man armed with a gun was arrested near Justice Brett Kavanaugh's suburban Washington, D.C. home. Thomas' lawyer decries weaponized ethics allegations. The reports landed amid a series of recent scandals involving Thomas and private jet travel and luxury vacations paid by Crow and others. Alito acknowledged in June that he flew to Alaska for a fishing trip on a private jet, and in 2008 that belonged to a hedge fund manager who reportedly brought cases before the high court. Alito also maintained he didn't need to disclose the trips, that there was no mention of it on his last disclosure report. Financial disclosure for the rest of the justices were released in June. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, meanwhile, was the focus of the story in July about how her aides pressed colleagues and a library to order copies of books she had written in connection with a public speaking event. The Life Lesson 1 is on Twitch. Welcome, welcome. Elite Burke, an attorney representing Thomas, released a statement minutes after the disclosure report became public Thursday, defending the justice's past reporting and dismissing criticism of the gifts as partisan. Over the course of his 44 years in public service in all three branches of government, Justice Thomas has always strived for full transparency and adherence to the law, including with respect to what personal travel needed to be reported. After reviewing Justice Thomas' records, I am confident there has been no willful ethics transgression, and any prior reporting errors were strictly inadvertent. Burke also blasted Thomas's critics as left-wing organizations with largely undisclosed supporters that stand diametrically opposed to his judicial philosophy. Burke said that while public figures may be the targets of weaponized ethics allegations, that all Americans ultimately suffer from the criticism. Groups advocating for more transparency on the court said the explanations are not sufficient. Justice Thomas linked the explanation as to why he omitted various gifts and free trips on previous disclosures does not countermand his decades of willful obfuscation when it comes to his reporting requirements, said Gabe Roth, executive director of the Fix the Court. All right, that sounds like a left-wing NGO. Nobody gives a fuck. You are the only one here. I don't get many streamers on Twitch. I am a conservative white guy and not a liberal progressive in a bikini in a hot tub. So my Twitch game is not strong. Leslie's in the building. Is the stream choppy or is it on my end? I think it's on your end. Everything looks good on my end. Yeah, everything looks good on my end. And I got shitty Wi-Fi in the den also. The justice acknowledged that Crow purchased a home in Georgia in 2014 in which the justice's mother lived and two other properties. Thomas said the Crow paid $133,000 and that he inadvertently failed to realize he should have reported the sale because he said he took a loss on the transaction. He also disclosed a life insurance policy held by his wife, Jenny Thomas, and a bank account he said were omitted from prior annual reports. In a statement attached to his report, Thomas laid out his case for why some of the earlier travel paid for by Crow was not disclosed. The flights and lodging, he said, were exempted from disclosure requirements until federal judiciary officials released new guidance earlier this year. And going forward, the statement read, filer will report any such trips. Okay, so the nation's highest court has appeared to stall on ethics changes amid a steady stream of news coverage revealing trips and other transactions. Based on public remarks and interviews by the justices over the summer, there seems to be no agreement on how to proceed. Congress, meanwhile, is unlikely for now to approve legislation Senate Democrats are pushing that would require a code of ethics at the court. Republican lawmakers have balked at the idea. Do I keep moving this? I think I keep moving this. Hold on, let me stretch it back. Nope, I didn't move it. Okay. Wait, what happened? What happened? Where'd we go? Where's the picture of the ugly chick? That's where we were. Um, what is super cool? That you're the only one here? You are the only important one on Twitch. This is true. I am out and about, but want to be here for this. I appreciate it, Leslie. Hang in. Hopefully your service stays in there. The Dax deep dive is going to be interesting. Let me get through this story first. I didn't think it was this long, so that's my bad, but let me finish it up while we can. Um, I mean, we could pretty much wrap it up there. Basically, the judges have to disclose if they get gifts. When they disclose it, they get criticized for taking the gifts, but it's not necessarily against the rule that they take a flight paid for by a rich dude, but they do have to disclose it and let people know. I find it funny. I find it funny. So they think that Clarence Thomas, because some rich dude paid for a flight, is going to somehow not act under the Constitution when coming up with a decision on the court, a decision that's going to be just gone over in groves by attorneys across the entire land. And if they could see some bullshit there, it would be easily discoverable. Easily discoverable. All right, for the first time on stream, I have a cup, people. I have a cup. I know it's sad. The life lesson, since you're new to the stream, I don't ever drink out of cups. I drink out of containers, jugs. So we go straight for the 2 liter. We go straight for the gallon of water. We're not a fan of the cups. But I wanted to leave my gallon of water in the fridge after the stream. We're going to hit the streets again, and it's hot as shit out there. So we wanted the water to be cold as possible. But there's my iCloud up on the screen for you guys. I'm not sure why I have that up, but there you go. There's all my stuff. So you can see we got videos made that need to come out. But we're not posting anything right now because YouTube's a fucking dick. And we're on strike over there. We are on strike over there.